no one knows. We're going head into the unknown.
Hello? Yeah. Weird. Just a sec. Stream. Okay. Do you guys have any oh, because I do. Like a really bad one. Oh, okay. My computer shows that I've got 2 StreamYards open. I'm pretty sure it's not YouTube. So if I exit one and this ends, I'll make a brand new one and we'll get going right away. Is that better? Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Okay, good. We're good. I don't know how that happened. I had 2 StreamYards open. It was bizarre. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Uh, yeah, feedback. That's terrible. I am so sorry. I don't know why all the technical difficulties. All I want to do is talk to you guys, and the universe just won't cooperate with me. So I read some comments on my last couple of videos, and there are people that are kind of new to Charmaine and new to why I'm doing this. But sorry, there was one comment that was actually like, It's like the romper room when you first come in, you spend 45 minutes saying hi to everybody. Mm, and fair enough. It totally is. And I don't want to do that, but I want everybody to feel welcome and that I'm seeing you. So I'm going to say hi to everybody as a whole. Know that I appreciate every single one of you for being here. And, you know, for the most part, whenever I can start a live stream and I don't have like a major fuck up with my sound, we'll go through we'll go through and say hi to everybody. If you don't like it, then don't watch. But because today we're already 6 minutes in and you could just start hearing me now, I say we say hi to everybody. It's beautiful to see you all here. I really appreciate everybody. And thank you, Sarah. That's so nice of you. Thank you. And thank you again. Wow. So nice of you. You guys are so nice. And even people in the comments on those videos, they come to my defense. And I I really I really don't take offense to anything that I read, even the people that are kind of picking at me a bit. Like, whatever, everybody's entitled and you can just go somewhere else. Dr. Worstiuk? That's awesome. Thank you for becoming a member. Are you really a doctor? What kind of doctor? I need a doctor. Um, but, everybody is great to see you. Looking to see if there's this part, man, you don't have to do that. I'm okay with 116 people already. What day is it today? Is it Monday? It's Tuesday. My gosh. Life is flying by. So the other day, Sunday, the 2 month, or sorry, 6 month, I was really emotional and kind of I was called snarky. I get it. I was. But I feel like it's for a reason. And I'm not always like that. But when you're dealing, when you're talking about, and this is my hobby, okay, and I love it, but you can't expect people that do this on YouTube to be happy about the things that they're talking about, you know. And I made it clear when I broke away from Sunny that I'm not doing it to be the next best thing. I'm not going to have like breaking news for the most part. I have communication with Daniel and Durwood and people like that who, their credibility is constantly in question. But I'm not here to claim to be the source, right? I wanted to hear from the people that watch this stuff because everybody has their own thoughts, their own ideas, and a lot of YouTube creators they don't have the time to go through chat because they've got all this stuff they want to cover, right? Today, I do have some stuff I want to cover because we're going to talk about Darius MacDougall. And then when we get into Lilly and Jack, we're going to be going through comments a lot more because it is you guys that should be starting these conversations that YouTube creators are having because we've already gone through all the mud, all of the information, everything that's come out, and at nauseum, we've gone through it. So communication is the only thing that's going to help us all. So that's what I'm going to do. Today, we are going to start with Darius MacDougall, and there's quite a bit that we're going to do because we haven't looked at it yet. We've brought it up, but haven't really looked at it yet. And y'all know that I suck at maps. I suck at maps. No, no, there's nothing new from the RCMP. I did reach out to Daniel the other yesterday, I believe, to ask him a question. regarding Lilly, like if she had an iPad or anything like that, and if she was on Roblox or anything like that. Um, and he got back to me and said, no, absolutely not, nothing like that. Um, but then he also threw in that he was getting a lot of messages from other people saying that they heard an arrest is coming soon. And his response was basically, well, I hope so, but I don't know anything about it. It's going to be major crimes that do the arrest. It's not anything to do with me, basically, is what he said, just so you know. And then also behind the scenes, Melissa, American Justice, who is in the chat, hello, um, has been working diligently on that monstrous document, with all of the, you know, um, with all of the links to all the different news articles and videos and Janie clips and screenshots from all the chats and stuff. It's just a massive undertaking, and she's still working hard at it. But there were a couple of things that she caught and ran past me, and we, as long as there's time, we'll be looking at some of it because crazy stuff. Hey, Stefa, good to see you. Good to see everybody. All right. Darius MacDougall. He went missing from, it's called the Crow's Nest Pass, and it is basically a path of highway that runs through Alberta to British Columbia, and you enter into the Rocky Mountains, right? And right where he went missing is just on the Alberta side of that border, bordering BC and Alberta. I do have a map pulled up so that we can see the area. But first, I thought best if we watch just a few short news clips about it. Just thank you, Stefa, for becoming a member. So nice. I'm trying to think of things to do for just members, but for now, it's in my head. But anyway, so Darius MacDougall, we are going to watch some news clips. Just so everybody knows, I did reach out to Darius's mom on Facebook Messenger. I have not heard back yet, but I have no doubt that she will, or somebody close to her will get back to me because she wants to find her son. So, having said all of that, let's walk over together to, wonder which screen it is. This is it. Add to stage. So all of these things are about Darius, you guys. There's a lot. Even Justin covered it a while back, but I want to. It's not it. Sorry, I got sidetracked with a. I want to go as far back as I possibly can. Okay, so this is basically 24 hours after he went missing. This one that we're going to watch right now. The Crow's Nest Pass is very rough area. So let's watch this together, and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll watch a few more just kind of as things progressed and all the way up to today. Well, actually, not today. I think like a week ago was the latest um, news story.
Cool. Family.
Doesn't do much good. Let me know if you can hear it. Everything's good. I'm gonna go now. And
The search for a missing 5-year-old boy continues in the Crow's Nest Pass more than 29 hours since he was last seen. On Sunday, 5-year-old Darius MacDougall was hiking with his siblings near Island Lake Campground when he disappeared. Dozens of crews have been searching since yesterday for the boy who has autism, which may prevent him from responding to others. Our Carson Marsouk has been at the scene all day today and has more.
From the air and on the ground, dozens of search and rescue members, RCMP, and conservation officers are searching for 5-year-old Darius MacDougall.
Family went out for a walk. Darius was not among the ones that returned. They went back to the site, searched for a good time before calling 911, and search and rescue was deployed immediately.
Searchers responded around 11:30 Sunday morning. RCMP say Darius was walking with family on a road that connects to Tent Mountain and allows camping on Crown land when he got separated. MacDougall has autism, and police say that may prevent him from responding to others.
How a 5-year-old boy will react in a specific situation is difficult at the best of times. So we need to keep that in mind. Fortunately for us, we are able to draw upon the provincial resources in Alberta.
The area off of Highway 3 near the Alberta-BC boundary includes steep terrain, with search and rescue focusing on an area about 2 kilometers in.
We are in a valley, a river valley itself. There are 2 small rivers that are also in play. There's a large bog that we continue to search, and some fairly steep, rugged, forested terrain.
Members from search groups in southwest Alberta, Lethbridge, Foothills, and Cochrane have been canvassing the area since Sunday. Police are also using helicopters, drones, and dogs to find the missing boy, also searching the water Monday afternoon.
We have not narrowed the scope. We are expanding it as appropriate for our search avenues right now.
Officers and search members will continue their efforts throughout the night.
We are very confident about a positive outcome. The weather is in our favor.
Well, RCMP and Search and Rescue are thanking the public for wanting to help find the young boy. At this time, they are asking people to avoid the area to allow their trained teams to continue their searches. Carson Marsouk, CTV News.
I remember that because there was a point in time
Crow's Nest
where
Pass.
No, at this
because
point, our
this is kind of my old stomping ground, right? Like I was born and raised in Calgary. I lived in Lethbridge for years. My daughter lives in Lethbridge still, and not still, I guess she moved there again, but my grandbabies are in Lethbridge, and this would be the path that I would take to go from Alberta to BC. So through the Crow's Nest Pass, and there's such a rich history in that area. I know that there are other. I don't know if you guys are interested or not, but there's a few like Tourism Alberta videos about the Crow's Nest Pass, and it tells you about a mining incident where I think 31 people passed away, and then Frank's Slide was huge. An area, it was called Turtle Mountain, and I think it was 1903. It collapsed. The limestone collapsed and buried an entire town. Over 400 people were lost, and like they weren't able to do a cleanup back then, so it's still the way it was back then with all the rock and shale and stuff lining the highway for miles. Like that's all you can see is Frank's Slide rock, knowing that there's an entire town buried there. It's absolutely crazy to drive by there and realize what had gone on there. So, and that's just a couple of things, right? This area has such a rich history, but the terrain is crazy, crazy. And yeah, Kelly, I saw that too. Yeah. But absolutely insane. Anytime I pass Frank's Slide, I get such a strange feeling, and I think that that's pretty normal. I don't want to. Let me see here. I don't want to stray away from this because I had searched for all of this stuff There's a couple important ones that I really wanted to hit on, not including tarot. No shade to tarot readers, but um, this person too, Crime with Cat, she does some good stuff. Frank Slide, yeah. You guys talk about Frank Slide? If you wanna see it, I can show you, but it's insane. So we know that they searched and they searched and they had the dogs and professional searchers and everything out there, and they did that for days, not unlike Jack and Lily's case. They never ruled out foul play though. They never ruled that out. So different than Nova Scotia already, right? So let's jump to um after a week. I'm gonna kind of play that one.
After a week of searching in rugged terrain, the hunt for Darius MacDougall continues. But RCMP say chances of finding the 6-year-old boy alive are slipping away.
The point we are at with regards to the search, the survivability is less than 5%. So unfortunately, that conversation was had with the family today.
Despite this, RCMP remained committed to bringing the Alberta boy home.
Just because we're saying survivability is limited right now does not mean we're stopping looking for Darius. We will still continue. We will continue until we find him.
MacDougall was last seen September 21st walking with family near the Island Lake campsite in the Crow's Nest Pass area of Alberta, near the BC border. 200 personnel are combing the area for him. One expert says they should remain hopeful.
If you've been in search and rescue long enough, you've seen or run the search where you thought there was no chance of finding the subject alive, and you find them alive.
He says the fact that Darius has autism could further complicate the situation.
In some cases, they're non-responsive, so if you shout their name, they can't call back. In other cases, you shout their name and they don't want to call back because they may be afraid.
Officials say they've tailored the search to accommodate the boy's needs.
In most searches, we would be using sound as an attractant method for a subject to draw them in, recognizing that in this particular situation, that would actually have the opposite effect and potentially push Darius away from us.
Searchers are also using Darius's favorite song to attempt to lure him out of the bush. As the search heads into its 8th day, RCMP say they have no plans to scale back, but did say they have stopped using helicopter infrared cameras. Stephanie Cram, CBC News, Edmonton.
Oh, so absolutely sad. People are asking questions, so oh man, there's just so much that, and this is my first time covering it, right? So we're kind of digging into this together. Melissa, it was not long. So the boy was on a walk with his siblings, cousins, younger family members, but they were all in sight of the adults. Apparently he was they were on what's considered an island. Let's maybe have a look at the map. There we go. This is, where did I go? So this is Island Lake. What are you guys saying? Anything? You're friends with the grandma of Darius, and she said they played his favorite songs over and over to try to bring him out. So heartbreaking. It is so heartbreaking. Please let her know that, I know there's not much we can do, but one of the things that I asked Darius's mom is, what does she want the public to do? How can we help her? you know, just tell her to check her messenger because I would truly just want to help. So anyways, not so anyways, it's super important that she knows that. But here we go, okay, guys. Apparently, this is where they were camping. Island Lake Provincial Campground. But, and there are other people that have been following this case. I don't see anything here that would be considered an island. Okay, just hear me out. That would be considered an island where the parents could see. So if this is the campground area, say, right? And he was on an island, the parents still had eyesight too. This is not that big of a body of water, you know? So if he had fell in, you'd think they would have found him by now. Hey, Jackie. Hey, everybody. Sorry, I want to read just in case you guys know anything. Is Darius nonverbal? Absolutely not. He's not nonverbal. We've got the cutest little video. Is my sound cracking? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Why is it crinkling? I think I might hate this microphone. When it's working, it sounds better than the other one, but at least the other one had a red light. I could tell if it was working. So hopefully the sound gets better. Hopefully it's just a glitch. I don't know. It's fully charged. Everything's good. So, yeah. So I believe these here up here are train tracks, but then this is the main road, right? This is the road. Maybe not the main road, but it would be a road to get in there. Or am I mistaken? No, those definitely look like train tracks. And then it doesn't look like that road leads anywhere unless it goes through the bushes in that way. But however, you would probably get in there from here and you'd have to just turn off the highway to go there. But the road is right there, not far. And that one article that we the news story that we listened to said that they were, did Nancy Grace have good footage? The only thing I worry about with Nancy Grace is, and I mean, no shade, but she's American, and a lot of the sources, for example, like the People magazine article about Malaya, just a little bit off. So, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, we can look. If you want to look, we can look. So, anyways, but the story is that they were playing on an island within eyesight of the adults. And this is the only thing that I would consider to be island-like. It seems like quite a distance to be able to see them. And like I said, this portion here isn't that big of a body of water. However, say that's not what they were doing and they walked this way, or Darius walked this way. She wasn't accurate. I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Sorry, Susan. I don't know what to do. Like, if it gets bad, I'll keep my eye on chat. If it gets bad enough, I'll switch mics again, okay? These two missing persons cases that have touched my family personally have both gone cold. Nicole Moore. Wow. I be American. I'm here to get my info. I don't mean any disrespect, but you know what I mean. They get their information from whoever will give it to them, and sometimes those sources are not correct. Because let's face it, there's not a whole lot of information to be found in Canada unless it's on the news. So let's watch this one now, okay? This one is what I was just talking about, the cutest little video of Darius. But this is mom. This is Darius's mom. Okay. Here we go. I apologize. I don't know what happened. I didn't not share the sound, but for like, because I didn't change, or maybe when I went over to the map. Either way, here you go. Sorry, I apologize.
The sound of her little boy's laughter is both precious and painful because 6-year-old Darius MacDougall has been missing for almost a month.
How are you doing? It's the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in my life. I don't wish this on anybody.
The Southern Alberta family had requested privacy throughout the search, but Megan Bernicki believes it's important to speak out now.
You decided to do an interview today. What are the main things you want to get across to the public? Darius is still out there missing somewhere, that if someone has him, bring him home. He's missed. He's loved. He's wanted home.
On September 21st, the 6-year-old was camping with his dad's family in the Crow's Nest Pass.
He was with his dad's girlfriend's daughter and my niece, and they were playing hide and seek and whatever, and they said they turned around and he was gone.
In the days that followed, the surrounding area was searched by a team of hundreds, but after 11 days, not a trace of the little boy was found. His mother says it doesn't make any sense.
Because like, if something would happen to him, like an animal had taken him, he was wearing Crocs. His Crocs would have fallen off.
What do you think happened to your son?
I believe someone took him.
Bernicki questions why the RCMP is not investigating her son's disappearance as a possible abduction, and why, after he was reported missing, roads in the area were not shut down. In a statement, the RCMP says, based on the information the family on scene provided, there was nothing to lead investigators to believe he was subject to an abduction, adding roadways are not closed unless there are grounds to believe a criminal element is in play. Police also say that to date, they've received no information to suggest Darius was removed from the area where he first disappeared.
Eat too much food, you become orange.
I'm going to believe in what I believe in and that he's out there somewhere and someone has him.
And she hopes someone knows something that will help bring her son home. Heather Yurex, West Global News, Lethbridge, Alberta.
Absolutely. How can you? Yes, fire. Do you think? Okay, and I'm not even going to get into the stepdaughter just yet. This is a really super quick one, you guys. I want to listen to this, and then there was something yesterday that came out about reform to the Amber Alert system, that I believe Darius's family is pushing for, because yeah, there was no Amber Alert. So listen to this one really quickly, and then get on with the new stuff.
Family of a 6-year-old who disappeared nearly a month ago is now sharing new details about the day he went missing. In a Facebook post, the family of Darius MacDougall says he was playing with 2 other children on an island across a creek from where the family was camping at the Livingstone Crownland Campground. The adults let the kids play there because they were within view. But on the morning of September 21st, Darius disappeared after 2 kids looked away. The parents started searching immediately and called 911, leading to a lengthy search by RCMP. The family also revealed one of the kids playing with Darius, Kaya, died last week in an unrelated medical emergency.
Lilly is
I'm
6
just
years
waiting
old.
for chat to
Jack
be
is
like on fire with that last little bit of information. Yeah, it is very sad. So I can exit this one out and I can exit this one out. Love her. Because I want to watch this one too. I meant to watch it before this, but this is when the search was called off. A little bit sad, but it just shows you, to me, how it was a little bit different in Alberta than it went in Nova Scotia. So let's listen to this one real quick.
Search for Darius MacDougall has been called off. While search and rescue crews have left the scene, RCMP say the investigation into his disappearance will continue. The 6-year-old was camping with family in the Crow's Nest Pass when he was last seen September 21st. Carson Marsouk has the latest.
After 11 grueling days scouring 22 square kilometers of forest, rivers, and mountains for any sign of Darius MacDougall, the search has ended.
Everyone did everything in their power to find Darius, and we will continue to pursue avenues to find him when they arise.
Over the past week and a half, more than 400 search and rescue members from 50 teams, RCMP, and conservation officers spent 11,000 hours combing the area off of Highway 3 near the Alberta-BC boundary in the Crow's Nest Pass. Yet not a single trace of the Lethbridge boy has been found.
Searchers have been battling high slopes, multiple waterways, and thick vegetation during this search.
Darius was walking with family members when he somehow became separated from the other children on the morning of September 21st. MacDougall suffers from autism, which rescuers say likely complicated the search as it may have prevented him from responding to his name. As a result, crews used his favorite song to gain his attention, searched using helicopters, drones, on foot, and on horseback.
The search extended up to 12 kilometers from where Darius was last seen. The distance traveled by ground search assets inside that 22 square kilometers on field tasks was more than 5,300 kilometers.
This has been more intensive a search than I've ever seen.
RCMP say all search efforts have now been exhausted.
At this point, if Darius is still in the search site, it is our belief that he is no longer alive.
Corporal Gina Slaney says interviews with family members have been conducted as part of the investigation.
At this point, there is zero indication that foul play is involved.
While the search has ended, RCMP say the investigation will continue and all tips and leads will be followed up.
We are committed to bringing answers to Darius and his family.
Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Now, as the investigation continues, anyone with information on Darius's disappearance is asked to call Crow's Nest Pass RCMP or submit a tip anonymously through Crime Stoppers. A candlelight vigil for Darius and his family will be held Saturday night, 8 o'clock, at Lethbridge's Dr. Proby Elementary School.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
So, but like anaphylactic shock, isn't that's allergy related, right? And asthma is asthma, two completely separate things. And no, she didn't die while camping. This just happened last week, I think. And what's her allergy? Like you say, was it like a bug bite or was it peanuts or something like that? you know, 3 weeks after camping, roughly. That's correct, Diesel. I mean, it's not hard to imagine in this particular area a child getting separated, wandering off, and getting lost. It wouldn't. But these waterways, I know it looks, I mean, it's not small. Crow's Nest Lake is a little bit different. I do not think that they were here though. They were this way. They were this way. Um, and that one news story said that they were camping on Crown Land, which it would be the provincial park. And it said the Island Lake campground, guys. So I think this was it. But anyways, I had another plan that I want to look at. The bring Darius MacDougall home Facebook page. It's not something that we normally do, pull up an entire Facebook page and look at it together, but why not? Right? Why not? Because it's got probably a lot of decent information in it, obviously. I've been following it and sharing things from this page since it happened. Whirlpools, not so common in Canada, no. Okay, let's go to the first map we see. Um, hmm. Just sitting here reading to myself, which I shouldn't be doing, but I wanted to, because I feel like from what I first saw, one of the posts that I first shared had a map area on it, and it looked more like he was by a river or creek or something. But these newer ones, it's not. It's not that at all. Yeah, and something would have been found, Susanna. Absolutely. So I'm gonna go to the most recent map that's on this page, and this is a very, very active Facebook page. If you haven't joined, a lot of my friends have joined, but if you haven't joined, you can go and join the Facebook page. And so this here, guys, this sweater here is what he was last seen wearing. This exact sweater is what he was last seen wearing. So the general last point seen is away from that campground that they said the family was staying at. Crow's Nest Creek Falls. This is why I want somebody that was there to be up here with me, so that we know exactly where this child was last seen. I'm going to put on the vigil to watch for just a few little minutes while I search for something.
Grace while camping in the Crow's Nest Pass on September 21st. Now, over a month later, residents in Lethbridge gathered on the steps of City Hall to honor the little boy who is still missing.
It hurts to see family struggle so much, especially when they're missing their own child. And I can't imagine how that would feel if I lost my child.
The ceremony was more than a visual, however. It was a call for change.
Bring out the community and stand in solidarity for Darius, for his family, and to push for national level reform and to get our community leaders to act. We need action, we need heroes, and that's what we're coming together for. We're coming together in love, and love will prevail.
Calling it Darius's Law, Ronnie DeGagne hopes this tragedy can be the spark for a Canada-wide reform.
Darius's Law would give police the power to issue an Amber Alert when a child goes missing near a border, highway, or national park without having to wait for proof of a confirmed abduction.
I would want everyone and anyone to look for my child. And I think that Ronnie coming forward with Darius's Law just ticks the boxes for me to, go ahead and bring awareness to all forms. Tonight is about hope, love, awareness.
Despite gathering almost 14,000 signatures on a Change.org petition, DeGagne says he isn't done yet.
I hope to take this petition all the way to Parliament and push for national Amber Alert reform.
Because at the end of the day, he says one life saved is worth every effort.
I began this petition so no family has to go through this silence again.
Justin Sibbett, Global News.
Yeah, I mean, that has to happen, right? We need Amber Alert reform in this country. We never get Amber Alerts, and that it seems like when we get an Amber Alert, it's a parental abduction. I mean, it's infuriating when you sit back and you really think about it. But all of these kids go missing, and we don't want to get the word out. We just think we can get word of mouth out through news instead of an Amber Alert. Any kid under 10, I agree. And the people out there, there are yuppies who don't have kids and don't, they aren't connected to anybody with kids that might get pissed off at 3 a.m. to getting that alert on their phone. But do you think they might get over it at the cost of maybe getting the word out and helping find a missing child before it's too late, right? And like I said, when it came to Jack and Lily's case, I thought, what better way to get the word out than send an Amber Alert out immediately so that if somebody happened to see 2 little kids in passing, it wouldn't have been just something that they don't even remember they saw because they just saw an Amber Alert looking for 2 little kids. What a great way to make people more vigilant about what they're seeing. I think it's ridiculous. I'm trying to find my map because I want to look for that falls area. Was there a road close by? Yeah, there was. Reform the alert. Someone could be taking kids and possibly seen in a gas station or stores. Exactly. And just because you don't have a description of a suspect vehicle, what better way to get one? It just makes no sense. Where are the falls? Anybody familiar with this area who would know where these falls are? There's Crow's Nest Lake, or Crow's Nest Lake. There's the boat launch, but where would the falls be? Emerald Lake. So this is the Crow's Nest Highway, guys, number 3. So that is main highway. And this is the Welcome to Alberta sign, and he went missing from Alberta, so he was on this side of the border. So there has to be some kind of waterway or something that I'm not seeing on here. Yard. Sometimes campgrounds have permanent visitors living in their RVs, yes, and turns into a drug town, absolutely. That's very true. I believe they didn't take too long to call 911. However, they didn't have enough searchers. More were brought in. But I think that they had spent time to search before calling 911, which is reasonable. But we don't know how, because they were away with he was with other kids. So we don't know how long since they had last realized they seen him, because from what I understand, okay, I read you, my arse isn't dragon, I get it. Thank you. But we don't know how long it was since the kids realized that he got separated, right? They're all younger kids. So for all we know, and how young are the kids? I don't know. Sometimes they don't have a very good concept of time. But you would have to think, again, you would have to think that the RCMP and search and rescue put a lot of time and resources into combing this area with a fine-tooth comb, dogs and the whole 9, helicopters, drones, all of it, for 6 days. And you'd think they would have ruled out any foul play by the parents. So what I had heard, oh, one sec, I'll go back to you. In fact, no clothing, not even a scent found. Sounds like the boy from Elk Island National Park that went missing and never found. Right. And I want to say, like, there are grizzly bears and stuff in this area. But grizzly bears aren't sneaky and they're not quiet. Unless the kid's seen something and they're scared to say something. Like the adult search for an hour before calling 911, right? But what I'm saying is, even because he was gone with the other kids in that group, we don't know how long it was since they last saw him or they realized that he wasn't with them. Do you know what I mean? Do people have to register to use campsites? Yeah. In Alberta, you have to pay. No clothing, not even a scent found. Sounds like I just did that one. I heard they searched for an hour. Do people have to register? Yes. And you can pay by cash or whatever, but you do have to register, and you have to have registration on your camper. That is what I would like to know. How long since he was last seen that day? Is there a petition to sign for Ambler? Yes. You can go ahead and join that Facebook group. I can see if I can figure out a way to post the petition. Is it bad? Is it still really bad? Like nothing. I can't tell you anything about the remaining children. They've asked for privacy. As far as I know, dad and stepmom aren't speaking, but mom is looking, she's searching, but I mean, she wasn't there, so she wants answers. And I'm sure that dad has talked to the media. You know, it's hard to find that information here, you guys. Let's search together. Darius. Dad. Should we go to Reddit? Yes, TJs, they were on Crown land, but that could be the provincial park, right? 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 Just Crown land is owned by the government, which is what a provincial park is. Right? Mm. Do we want to go to Reddit, you guys? Doing it. I'm doing it. Okay. Read that already. Family has decided to release a statement as a whole and answer some questions. Oh, good. This might be good. Just one sec. Just 1 second. I'm going to try to zoom it in. Just give me 1 sec. Did I hear that correctly? That one of the children who was with Darius is now deceased? You did. You heard that correctly. If there's somebody messaging me, I don't have my Facebook open right now. I'm not looking at that. Family has decided to release a statement as a whole and answer some questions. First, the family requested privacy, not to hide or keep secrets, but to safeguard themselves from a majority of the public that only have intentions to cause harm. We do understand there's a huge portion of you that genuinely care, so we have worked together to release some information to the public that has been requested. I hope that my mic isn't too horrendous still. I'm sorry. The family went camping arriving at the Livingston Crown Land Campground September 19th, 2025. There was the grandfather, grandmother, aunties, uncles, and cousins present to celebrate a few birthdays in the family. Darius was present with his father Dallas and his girlfriend Buffy. Kaya, Buffy's daughter, was also there. The mother, Megan, was not present. One sec, guys. It's me messaging you. Did not want to interrupt your show, but there has been a major planet crash. Planet crash? That sounds scientific stuff. Huh? The family was packing up to get ready to leave the morning of September 21st. The kids were playing on the island adjacent to the camp just across a creek where the adults could see them. Darius, Kaya, and an unnamed cousin were walking and playing together with other kids close by when Darius went missing. They turned their backs and Darius was gone. The kids immediately notified camp, and the father and grandfather took off in opposite directions looking for Darius, while grandmother called 911. Search and rescue were setting up within 20 minutes. We searched long into the night the first day, hoping for a quick resolve to a very scary incident. Oh, plane? Okay. I was like, planet? Plane crashed where? Like, is it something we need to look into right now? Um, and anyways, this is different from what all the reports were saying, was it not? Like they spent time looking before they called 911, but grandma called 911 as they were looking. Interesting. The family had searched tirelessly and with extreme effort, often going until they physically could not go any longer. We worked side by side with the search and rescue, eliminating each section of the map. Buffy spent hours searching with the family while Dallas remained at camp as per RCMP's request. Megan came up to the mountain as well and was working with the RCMP at all times. Everyone was cooperating and working with the RCMP at all times. When search and rescue was called off, the public remained without answers. They naturally turned on the family with suspicion and accusations. This was taking away from the search for Darius, so again, the family was attempting to safeguard themselves and the younger children involved. Unfortunately, with Kaya's passing in a separate tragic event, instead of the mother being focused on grieving a tragic loss, the community has chosen to attack her. Buffy is heartbroken, as with everyone in the family. No one could have expected this outcome. Out of respect for Kaya and the family, we will not be commenting on this, and it will not be part of this page as it is a very separate tragedy. This was an unexpected, horrible tragedy for a family already feeling broken from Darius' disappearance. We would like to thank the staff of Pincher Creek Stars and the Alberta Children's Hospital for their love and care of Kaya and the family. Please remember to lead with kindness and compassion. What do we? Wow. Wow. Megan has been calling for the dad and Buffy to be investigated before this loss. This is insane and tragic. I sense something horrible happened. Darius's stepsister died after anaphylactic shock on Thursday. She was one of the last to see Darius before he disappeared. Very strange that they changed the story to the kids playing on an island when previously they said there was no way Darius would play in the water as he was afraid of the water. They also changed the number of children with Darius a few times now, as well as the level of adult supervision. It's all very, very odd, and I feel sorry for the children and other family members who have had to deal with this. Oh, spidey senses be tingling. It is odd. Odd. Wow. Made a second post last week in support of Megan, reiterating how neglectful Buffy was of her daughter Kaya. They're honest about it. They're so public about their drama that it's hard to miss. it does make Dallas and Buffy appear guilty of neglect because their absence is hard to miss in comparison. Being secretive is a disservice to themselves and to Darius. Now, with Kaya's tragic and preventable death less than 3 weeks after Darius went missing, I hope the authorities intervene and remove access to the other kids until an investigation is done on whether or not they are fit to be caretakers. We know both of them are not, but I hope something is done so their lack of responsibility doesn't continue to harm others. To my understanding, Darius was not in the care of either of his parents. He was in the care of his auntie. If we are pointing fingers, then should they not be pointing at the person who was supposed to be caring for Darius? He was her responsibility, and if she allowed his father to have care and control over Darius despite the child being removed from his care, then the onus for the boy's disappearance is on the aunt, plain and simple. Having said that, all the attention that should have been given to bringing closure to those who love Darius is being given to pointing fingers at the obvious fact that this entire family has failed miserably at protecting two innocent children who have been lost, and they all will live the rest of their lives with that heavy burden. Sadly, that is their karma, and it's a pain that will likely destroy all of them. The parents who already have addiction issues will likely only get worse. Hopefully, any children remaining in the care of any of these family members are removed before another preventable tragic accident. I'm going to skip over to your comments. Stephanie is literally one of my favorite people. What's Dad's name, you guys? Dallas. Dallas MacDougall? Dallas MacDougall? Is that his name? See. Has he ever spoke? I don't think he's ever spoken. You know what? I might have to stop sharing and reshare because I don't think that I
He's not.
Do you hear that?
Kitchen denied.
Can you hear her sound? Hey Ben and Jam to the Jam and Blue Jay and everybody. I need to know if you can hear Nancy. Oh, I paused her at the perfect time. That is brutal. Okay. You cannot hear her, so I'm going to stop sharing and reshare because if we were looking at articles, I did not share the audio. So I will share the audio now. And we're going to watch Nancy for a while because she probably has some shit to say, you know? And I think that if it gets stupid, I'll pause it. Does she copyright strike? I mean, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if she copyright strikes. I'll have to add her to the show notes. Whatever though. You guys into it? Want to watch Nancy for a little bit? Remember, we're trying to get her on Jack and Lily too. So maybe Dad had some visiting rights. I mean, there seems to be something there. So I'm going to dig in. I'm going to sleuth a little bit. So we're going to watch Nancy for a little bit, and then we're going to switch gears over to Jack and Lily, and we're just going to have a conversation. I don't have anything new to share about Jack and Lily, other than a couple of things that Melissa found that we're just going to talk about. So let's go. Nancy Grace. Here we go. Sorry, I agree, Diesel. It's great. It's perfect. I don't think she would agree. Let's move on. Moving on.
Old vanishes on an extended family camping trip. How could a little 6-year-old boy vanish into thin air while the adults were watching him play with other children? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
What was meant to be a peaceful family getaway in the wilderness of Alberta, Canada, has turned into a devastating mystery. The MacDougall family, eager to create lasting memories, was thrown into chaos when one of the young children wandered off.
I have taken the children from a very young age all across the country, RVing and camping. I'm not sure how you lose a child on a camping trip, but it's happened a lot. This isn't the first time a child has gone missing on a camping trip. The parents, the grandparents, there was extended family or family friends there. They were all packing to leave and go back home. And you know, when you're packing up the RV or the station wagon or the SUV, you turn your back. Right? You're loading it up, everything's running crazy. But how could a little boy vanish into thin air and be gone so quickly he can't be found? Okay, let's start at the beginning. Listen.
6-year-old Darius on a camping trip with dad, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, dad's girlfriend Buffy, and her daughter Kaya. The family gathers to celebrate family birthdays, camping in Crow's Nest Pass with rivers, creeks, hiking areas, and small islands close to shore where the children love to play.
Let me just start right there because I need to understand the terrain. Joining me an all-star panel, but I want to go first to Stephen Tipper, joining us from Post Media. Stephen, thank you for being with us. Could you let me just start with the terrain, where they were camping. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a very uneven terrain. I mean, lots of different kinds of from, level ground to high level, mountainous terrain. There's bodies of water there. It's obviously in the Rockies, so it's there's quite a varied mixture. I mean that they were looking.
Look at those trees, Stephen Tipper. Stephen joining us, investigative reporter with Post Media. Check it out, Brian Fitzgibbons. Fitzgibbons, Director Operations USPA Nationwide Security, who leads a team of expert investigators specializing in finding missing people. Look at those trees, Brian. I mean, what I'm saying is a child gets lost in those trees. That's going to be really hard to find, even with dogs, even with cadets shoulder to shoulder. Did you see that picture we just showed, Fitzgibbons?
Yeah, absolutely. This is rugged terrain, Nancy, and you can see as the thick forest, the dense forest there makes not only the search complicated, but for the 6-year-old child who's missing, he's quickly disoriented once he's separated from his group. So this terrain is possibly some of the least ideal terrain for a search like this to take place.
Fitzgibbons, I worked as a hike master at teaching tree identification, believe it or not, in a national forest. I always had to carry a compass with me just in case. you get disoriented, like you were just saying, in those trees where everywhere you look, everything looks the same. That happens. It's a phenomenon. Dr. Trace Sargent joining us, PhD in psychology, focused on victimology, and in a previous life, search, rescue, recovery expert. It happens. It's a phenomenon. You get in those trees and they all seem to look alike, and you get turned around and you don't know which way, where you came from or where you're trying to go if you don't have a compass, much less a 6-year-old little boy.
That's absolutely right, Nancy. Children at this age don't have the capability and the maturity and the growth of their minds to understand where they are, how to get back where they want to be. They become very disoriented. They become very frightened. Oftentimes they hide because that's a survival mechanism. Oftentimes they cover themselves up. They get underneath logs. Not only the challenge of the terrain itself, but then you have this very, very small child in itself is going to be very, very difficult to see, even in the best of circumstances.
Well, to Karen Stark joining us, forensic psychologist, renowned TV radio trauma expert at KarenStark.com. Karen, okay, just for a moment, don't think about the little 6-year-old. Think about the family. When they realize he's gone, and I got to get back with Stephen Tipper about this. I still don't get how they're camping. They see him playing with the other children. They're packing. They turn around. He's gone. I'm trying to figure out that timeline, but think about them suddenly looking for him, Karen, and they're upset and emotional, and they're going into the trees, and everybody's disseminating, and it's basically all HELL breaks loose.
Without a doubt, because how can you not be so upset? This is a 6-year-old, their child, their grandchild, their relative and friend, and everybody is searching for this little boy. They would be in a complete panic, Nancy. You would be, I would be. What can happen? Anything.
Well, put Karen Stark up, please. Karen, you and I talked after this happened, and this is just a very small comparison. I've told you about John David when before he was 3, and we were in that giant baby superstore, and I was crouched down trying to find organic sunscreen. Anyway, I stood up, I turned around, there was Lucy, no John David. Remember, I picked Lucy up like a football and started running and screaming to lock the doors up front that my son was missing. Now that you're talking, I've never thought about this before, but everything else seemed to be a blur, like a dark, gray, reddish blur all around me, except for clutching Lucy and running to those front doors. I don't even know why I was running toward the front doors. I guess to try to stop the doors from opening and somebody taking him out. Little did I know he was playing hide and seek with mommy and was a few rows away, but it took a minute to find him. But when you say they get disoriented, that can happen because you're so focused, tunnel vision on where is he. You're not thinking about what's happening around you.
And they're like, as you described, Nancy, in suspended animation in a way, because you really don't know what to do. You're not aware of what you're doing. Your heart is stopped. You can't breathe, and you're just panicking. How can you not? That's exactly what happened with you and John David.
I'm trying to figure out, though, how he could get away, Karen Stark, and just like that. As a matter of fact, I want you to hear these facts further tonight. Where is this 6-year-old little boy? How did he just vanish into thin air? Listen to this.
As the family's packing up to head home, Darius, Kaya, and a cousin are on a small island directly across from the camping area in clear view of the adults. The children turn their back for a second, and Darius is gone. Father and grandfather immediately begin searching, going different directions on the small island to cover the entire area, planning to find Darius before they meet in the middle.
Stephen Tipper joining us, investigative reporter with Post Media. Stephen, again, thank you for being with us tonight. Stephen, I'm still trying to nail down exactly what happened. And I'm not saying it didn't happen just like they're describing it. I remember when Samantha Runyon went missing, she was with her grandma, and grandma was at, I think, the kitchen sink looking out into the front yard where Samantha, 3, was playing with some other children. And a guy comes up and takes her out of the front yard just like that. And before grandma can get out there, he was gone, 60 mph. So it can happen just like that. But I need to I understand the Runyon case. Explain to me again, how did this happen?
Yeah, so I mean, they were packing up and getting ready to leave, as you say, and I mean, they just turned their backs. That's what the family says, and he was gone. Um, Darius is autistic. He doesn't like loud noises or bright lights, and that kind of did affect the search. The searchers did avoid those kinds of things. They
Whoa. You guys see that? You guys see that? I'm just waiting to see if you see what I see. Do you see what I see? Look at all this. Look at all this up here. That is reminiscent of that one picture of Jack and Lily in the kitchen. I think that they were doing some kind of craft or something. And you look behind them and there's garbage overflowing and the counters were full of dishes and garbage and stuff. Chaos. Chaos. Neglect. Wonder who the baby is. No, they don't. That's what it sounds like to me. Um, dad and girlfriend were allegedly addicts, but I mean, I haven't seen anything yet from them. This is right here. Disturbing. Does your kitchen look like this, Steffa? Ugh, that is disturbing. Looks like it. I don't want to miss anything, but at the same time, I don't want to watch all of it. We talk about all the time, being poor is one thing, but that doesn't excuse being dirty. It's possible. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I wish I did. And like I said, this is my first time really digging in, right? So, but that one picture was disturbing to me. Like I said, I don't want to watch all of Nancy, but at the same time, I don't want to miss anything. So I'm gonna hit play from here because this is where the next set of pictures for Darius comes in. So we're just gonna continue watching from here for a bit.
favorite song that they would use extensively during the search. They didn't say what that song was, but certainly, there were efforts to try and appeal to Darius.
Stephen, I see what you're saying. Would that be soothing to him, Karen Stark? They were trying to play his favorite, maybe it was a lullaby. They haven't told us what the song was, trying to find him and lure him out.
I think that was a brilliant idea, Nancy, because children who are autistic, they don't necessarily respond to calling you their name. Sometimes they're afraid, sometimes they're distracted, and yet they need to be able to reach him. So playing his favorite song that might be something that he could respond to. They get easily distracted. That happens all the time. They're impulsive. So, and they get scared. Any little child will get scared, but if you're autistic, you're particularly scared, frightened. You're in the forest.
Joining me now, high-profile Seattle lawyer Ann Bremner. This is her neck of the woods. She's a veteran trial lawyer, legal analyst, author of Justice in the Age of Judgment. Ann Bremner, I'm going to thank you for being with us. When we were just describing, and there's Stephen Tipper talking about it from Post Media and Karen Stark about playing the music, all I can think about, Ann, is, as I still call him, Ann, you haven't seen him in a couple of years, but John David is 6'6" now. But I still think of him as little Lucy and baby John David. And all I can do, Ann, is think about baby John David out in that forest, and I'm trying to play his favorite lullaby or song to lure him out. And a lot of people have been attacking the family and the parents, and I really believe that is uncalled for. Just like when I was in the superstore, I was down on a floor level shelf trying to find organic suntan lotion. And I was staring right at John David for a good 30 seconds to a minute. He had on those little tennis shoes and he ran several aisles away. It happens that the best parents have to load the car. The best parents, go in the kitchen to turn off the lady peas. I mean, and another thing, Ann Bremner, regarding the attacks on the family, for one of the family members to have been, let's just put it out there, to be responsible for his disappearance. What, is there a big conspiracy and all the other family members are lying about it, not telling what they know? I find that hard to believe that other family members are covering up for one family member that was either negligent or intentionally vindictive or evil. I don't believe it.
Well, Nancy, it's such an honor and a pleasure to be on with you again. And that's brilliant. I mean, you're right. I mean, how could everybody there, conspire to cover up, a disappearance that was something that was caused by one person? I mean, that's just something that's going to be so difficult to stomach for anybody. And so the other thing is, like you said, when someone's going through something that's dramatic, like when you lost John David, God forbid, for a period of time, why do the pile on? I think they're having to stop their comments on social media because people are attacking them, just picking them when they're down. They're trying to find their loved one. And, I live in a state that's got a lot of mountains and a lot of mostly trees in Washington State, fir trees, and people get lost, adults too.
Okay, Ann Bremner, you're a veteran trial lawyer, and you got to give me more than that. You would never stand in front of an appellate court where you've been many times, or a trial judge where you've been even more times, and say, hey, it happens. I need to understand how it happened, because we've all used Mark Class as the gold standard.
Right.
When his daughter Polly went missing and police came to his door, the parents were separated and said, hey, your daughter's missing. He said, fine, take my fingerprints, look at my house, go to my office, look at my car, we'll do whatever you have to do so you, LA law enforcement, can move on to find my daughter and who took her. And they did. And he was cooperative. These parents have been completely cooperative, but a lot of people online are stuck on the parents. Now, let's analyze why it's not the family.
Well, yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that why would they do this? What's the motive? And where did he go? I mean, where's the evidence that somehow they secreted him someplace?
Now that's important, because you and I both learned, and not to say why, why would anybody kill their child? Why? There is no good why. But that's a good point. Go where? Where are you going to go? Your whole family's there. Your vehicles are there. Where are you going to hide the child? And B, you would have to believe the entire group was covering for one of the perps, i.e. the mom or dad. That simply is not feasible. Okay, listen to this.
Searching the island and screaming his name, Darius seems to have vanished into thin air. 911 is called, and within 20 minutes, a command post is set up and organized searches by the RCMP search and rescue begin.
The weather is in our favor. The young man does not suffer from any health issues. There's no reason to believe that there will not be a positive outcome.
Global news. Bombshell tonight. Crime Stories now streaming first on Fox 1. That's right. You can now watch new
Commercials. Friggin' big channels like this, they found a way around the skip ad thing. They just get them to talk about the product. What else? So she's not on board with the family being involved. What are you guys saying? We'll check. I try to keep my hair behind my shoulder on my mic side, see if that helps. Nova thinks I should get an earbud so I can tell how my sound is. I just haven't got around to it yet. Oh, Harley. I'm gonna play it for a little while longer so I can go let Harley in. And we'll get back to chat. And then we'll switch gears here right away.
562-2866. Repeat, 403-562-2866. So the search is on.
Initially, you go from a point last seen, and you can expand your radius from there. We rely on our search and rescue experts for that.
There are 2 small rivers that are also in play. There's a large bog that we continue to search, and some fairly steep, rugged, forested terrain.
From our friends at Global News, straight back out to you, Stephen Tipper. What is he describing a large bog?
Right. I mean, that was among the the bodies of water that were searched more than once during the 11 days that they were looking for Darius. It was, there were extensive resources obviously pulled in, and that was among them, the areas that were searched.
Dr. Trace Sargent joining us, PhD in psychology, but also previously search, rescue, recovery expert. My understanding of what a bog is like a freshwater marsh. It's spongy, quicksand would be overstating it, but mushy earth. Kind of like mud, I would say, with some growth in it, such as reeds or cattails. That's how I picture bog. Very difficult to search in, but also I'm wondering if a little boy, like this little boy, can get in that and get into the bog and perish in the bog. It's kind of like a soft, spongy accumulation of dirt, clay, and plant, right?
Yes. So the bog itself is exactly as you described, Nancy. And looking at the clips of the search area, it's really extremely difficult to find this child in those kind of conditions. And then you add the bog, the water. It's just really extremely extraordinary, difficult circumstances. Really going to take all types of resources to find this child, from dogs to helicopters, searchers, drones, ATVs, even horseback, boaters. Every kind of resource is going to be needed to find this child in this extremely difficult search conditions in the terrain that they're working under.
Well, the search and rescue volunteers mount to over 400 people. Listen.
More than 400 search and rescue volunteers from 50 teams are to search for Darius. These volunteers contributed to 11,000 hours of search effort on the ground. They were joined by 60 members of the RCMP Specialized Tactical Support Group that were directly involved in searching for Darius. The search extended up to 12 kilometers from where Darius was last seen. The distance traveled by ground search assets inside that 22 square kilometers on field tasks was more than 5,300 kilometers. The search extended up to 12 kilometers from where Darius was last seen. The distance traveled by ground search assets inside that 22 square kilometers on field tasks was more than 5,300 kilometers.
Bridge City News.
So, a couple of things. Marie, just in this live stream, we've seen and heard two different things, that they searched for approximately an hour and then they called 911. But then we also heard that Dad and Grandpa ran in separate directions to search while Grandma stayed behind and called 911. So that's very different. And then I also heard very early on that the kids were hiking, they were walking and didn't realize that Darius was gone. And the last they remembered seeing him was probably a 5-minute walk away. I'll see if I can find the map for next time because we're going to move on. But it's sad that there's no concrete timeline, and not because Dad is out spinning different stories or stepmom is out telling bullshit. They're just not talking to the public. They've been cooperating with the RCMP and the searchers. We call it, up where northern Alberta, where I'm from, we call it muskeg, and it's just a very thick and sometimes very deep, over-soaked land. Almost like a shallow lake, but it's full of well, weeds and grass and mud, and it's very, we call it muskeg. I think stepsister died 3 weeks after. She just passed away not too long ago. You have two scenarios now. Autistic kids tend to be fearless. They run away aimlessly. Yeah, but something could have got his attention and he could have ran. But I think you've got two scenarios here. If he ran and there are falls nearby and those falls run into a river, a lot of the rivers in Alberta and BC, we call them angry rivers. They're whitewater rafting, like very fast moving rivers. Even the ones that look calm and gentle on top, their undertow is pretty severe. So either that or, you know, a stranger abduction. It's possible. And then they don't talk. They don't talk. Yeah, I've heard the same story starting off. There was like 5 siblings there, with 2 aunts and uncles celebrating a birthday. Yeah. What was Kent's theory on what happened to Jack and Lilly? It runs along the same lines as what Durwood's theory is. I don't really want to talk about Kent or Kent's theory. No need of it. It's just all the same. How many people was Darius with while playing hide and seek? Anyone? Yeah, it's still unclear because they're protecting the children. And from what I understand, Kaya, the one that passed away, and one other cousin was with Darius when he went missing. So it's like quicksand, right, Char? Somewhat. Like, have you guys ever put your foot, worn a rubber boot and put your foot into a deep mud puddle and then you can't get your boot out? You have to take your boot off to get your foot out. just because of the air suction. That's kind of what muskeg is like. It's extremely difficult to walk through, but with the proper equipment, it would have been fairly easy to be searched, I would think. Unless it's deep. And I mean, they vary, right? I'm glad I'm seeing a lot of you that are going to start looking into this and we can share information. Like I said, I want to do this about once a week. I don't want to take attention away from Jack and Lily. They still very much need us. Never going to stop talking about Jack and Lily until the day that they're found, whatever that looks like. Publicity, I think, wears truth. That's what I think. I believe the kids were further out from what the parents are saying. And I also believe that what was I saying? Thought came and went. I also believe that there's no way to know how long it took the kids to realize that Darius wasn't with them and how serious they took that. If they finished walking or playing or hiking or whatever they were doing before they went back and said, yeah, I don't know, Darius isn't here anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. Yes, Darius's mom said that he was wearing his Crocs. You sink faster standing, but if you fall over, you don't sink. Right? All right. So I do have a remove, add stage, missing persons poster. Oh, isn't that nice? There's no phone number or anything on there. Crying out loud. Darius. Well, it's the regular Crime Stoppers one, but it'll be just fine. Save image as poster. And I'm going to share this one instead so y'all can take a screenshot of it and share it around. Get the information out there. Obviously, 1-800-222-TIPS. That is what that is the number to call Crime Stoppers, and then the P3 Tips app. You put it on your phone. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. You can also contact the Crow's Nest RCMP detachment, 403-562-2866. And again, he's been missing since September 21st. Attacked why? Who's going to attack you here? Nobody's going to attack you here. Nobody's going to attack you here. Not to my knowledge, anyways. So let me quickly go over to my Facebook because I need to grab something that I want to talk about when it comes to Jack and Lily. And unfortunately, my attention is firmly on Janie right now. No, I'm not going to play the Janie clips. I don't know if I'll ever play the Janie clips again here. Well, I shouldn't say that. If I find what I'm looking for, you bet your buns I will. But for now, again, we'll talk about Darius again next week. Hopefully I'm able to make contact with a member of the family, possibly even get them up here to talk to you guys and get some clarification, but we will revisit this next week. Please know what? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm doing it. I need to know, please know what? 'Cause I don't want to piss you off. I told you what I was going to do, and you said okay. No more Jamie clips. Gotcha. But if I find her saying I did not cure Malaya shush the kids, I'm playing it. If I find that. But this, you guys. It's kind of blurry for you guys. Maybe if I put it on full screen, it won't be as bad. But this is all the shit that Janie said in the DT chat. I love this. I actually like Janie. She could totally be on TV. She has character. Yeah. Character. Look, I can't even say it's nothing personal against Janie because I don't think she hurt the kids. Like in this situation, I don't think she liked the kids, but I don't think she's responsible for Jack and Lily being missing. I take issue with her attitude towards the kids publicly and other things, not so publicly. I don't like her in this case. I'm sorry, but I don't. I'm just going to go ahead and read through these things and y'all can comment. We're going to try not to get pissed off today. And I'm not going to read the timestamps, but you just know this was in that. And if your name is on here, good for you for not getting blocked or timed out. Good for you. Robin, no. So Mama, where did you hear that? Because I asked Daniel if she did, and according to him, she is still living in the RV, and I have personal knowledge that she's not living in the trailer, but that she has full, unhindered access to the trailer whenever she wants, invited or not. Let's put it that way. But let's do this. Let me take this off. The answer, Robin, is no, I have not. The timing of DT getting pics of the kids' clothes when Malaya had them picked up months ago, did they take pics of the bags of clothes prior? They seem to have taken pics of a lot of things themselves. They sure do. His dad didn't want to pay support, take care of him. It's an idea. If your name is on here, sorry, I put the question mark in the answer. I said, I mean, you guys should be proud. If your name made the cut, that means you didn't get banned or deleted or whatever. So good for you. Playing the game. As long as she carries her rake with farmer coveralls on and a big blade of grass hanging from her mouth, I'll laugh my butt off. That's a good one. I don't think she did anything to the kids, but I can't stand her attitude towards them. Same. From Tarot Reader, allegedly girlfriend fed up with Darius, runaways, very boss, busy boy, gave dad threat, do something, she fed up, and other kids bully him. Most readers saw same issue, allegedly dad did something. Okay, we'll look into it. Agree. Yeah, mine either. Alerts are important no matter the circumstances. I agree. Putting in and out, Char. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't know what's going on. Can't remember. It was on another channel, but it's take me forever to find. I don't mean there's a problem with it. I mean, wasn't she upset about Malaya and the kids moving in and her taking the RV? I don't know. But you'd think she has a fucking issue with something. She has an issue with something. You can tell Darius's mom is really grieving and upset. I think a lot of these men don't want to pay support when they no longer have access to the mother. Sometimes. Don't know enough about Darius's family dynamic, but what if Darius was getting most of the attention in the household? Could it be an older sibling handed Darius off to another and allowed to wander? Or just didn't give a shit? You know what I mean? How older kids can be sometimes? Yeah, I think the sound was on my end. Okay. Okay. So let's do this. So okay, Janie says, okay, answer me this. Why would you leave your laundry at your grandmother's house and Jack and Lily go missing on Friday? Yes, I believe the kids are alive. And then somebody said, yes, that's odd, Janie. I thought she said she was too tired to put it away, and that's why the kids went to bed in their clothes. Janie said she only brought back some of Meadow's clothes, Jack and Lily's and Daniel's, none of hers. And then somebody else said, Daniel said that she left everything. Janie said, we packed up 6 bags of clothes of Jack and Lily's. If you're not up to answering questions in chat, let us mods know. If I could type faster, I would answer everyone's questions. There was no clothes. Yes, I heard both kids that morning. Since when did she say that? She heard the kids playing, but my question would be, what did she hear? Come on, Jackie. Come on, Jackie. Come over here and play, Jackie. Let's go, Jackie. She didn't hear that. She said that on the news. She didn't say that. But she also said, that's all I ever got out of them. It's all you'd ever hear out here is Lily. Come on, Jackie. Come on, Jackie. Let's go, Jackie. Just saying. What did you hear? 6 bags. DT has pics. So she packed up 6 bags of the kids' clothes. Is that how she knew? But wait a second, because I asked Daniel about the laundry. I said, so you just didn't unpack the laundry because it was 6 bags of laundry. I asked Daniel, so you just didn't unpack the laundry right away? And then, you realize that when they asked for the clothes that they're still in the bags? And he said, yes. So which is it? Yes, he walked, thought a field, not woods difference. And Ginny said, I don't know where the kids are. If I did, I would tell. Do you think I like going through this hell? When I went for my polygraph, they asked me if I wanted anything to drink. I said, no, thanks. Sure they weren't talking about rum. That's probably why she said no thanks. Janie, hello. I was there. I was telling them there was none of Malaya's clothes there. No kids here. We have a pool. Was not raking the driveway on Thursday night. If I did, don't you think RCMP would notice? They are not stupid. Was splitting wood yesterday. Put it in today. Yes, I was raking where the pool was going around supper time Thursday night. No kids here. I think why have a pool? Was not raking the driveway on Thursday night. If I did, don't you think the RCMP would notice? They are not stupid. Jump over. Yes, I was raking where the pool was going around supper time Thursday night. No pool because there was no kids here. Why put it up? I wanted to put it in a fenced area so kids would get in it. It's not in the driveway. It was going in front of the RV. No, I got one last year from a friend and they took it down. She gave it to me for the kids. If I was there, I would have gave her my hand, not the mail. What do you think of that? What do you think of that, guys? Then she shouldn't change her story so much. Like literally, she said at 1:03:58, she was not raking the driveway on Thursday night. And then 3.5 minutes later, she said, yes, I was raking where the pool was going around supper time Thursday night. Am I missing something? The fuck? Yes, Ben, she does. But I personally don't think that information came from Daniel. I think it came from Durwood. It came from Durwood. In front of the RV, which is the driveway. Thank you, Roots. Thank you. I mean, saying they heard them, if it's a lie, it is easier to keep track of because if they seen them, they'd get a million more questions and ask. True enough, but what did you hear? Meow, is that for me? Care. Kept repeating how honest Janie was. Well, she's far from. It's because he gave her all the information that she believes. Such a kind woman wanting to slap Malaya. I mean, I want to shake Malaya, but probably for much different reasons. Janie recently wrote in Facebook that Malaya knows where they are, nothing else. I think they have a gag order. No. No. Daniel, no, I mean, no offense, but there's no gag order in this case. There's a gag order in Meadow custody case. Daniel must get his BS talk from his mother. They can't keep their story straight. I swear to God, they both got the idea from Durwood. They did. I'm convinced. Confirm what? If that's what you're asking confirmation of, there's no gag order in this case. Janie never came up with that. She said all made sense after. Exactly. Durwood gave them that scenario. Why? And I hope he's watching because maybe I'm no better than the rest of them, but I'm on to you. Go ahead and attack me, but I'm fucking on to you. Explorer, she wrote in one of the chats that she was gifted a pool, but she didn't but one. Why? Charlotte was said that when Jack was 2, he got out, walked through a junkyard, and then caught outside of school by staff. Yes, I did hear that story. But that was not walking through the woods. Jack didn't like going through the woods. She would practically have to drag Jack or carry Jack, grab his hand to get him to walk through the woods. We have it. She said it. And if that's the case, then why is your first instinct when Malaya says the kids are missing that they must have went into the woods where they fucking hate to go. It doesn't make any sense. Daniel heard them in the kitchen, but says he can't hear the sliding door because it's too far away. Excellent point. Two larger men that have inserted themselves in this case need to be interviewed. Did you see that stone cairn thing they have near that raked area now? Supposedly they represent burial sites. No, I have no idea. D is for deception in Durwood. Cousin Larry, I saw that psychic, whatever her name is. I don't even know. People send me stuff and I click on it. When I realize it's a psychic, I close it. But it was just at the time when she's like, Cousin Larry. The cousin was Mervyn or Mervyn. And the other guy was Bill. So I don't know who Cousin Larry is. Her first thought was to check the woods. Yeah, maybe up to their little handmade forts that they're so proud of and that they're comfortable playing in. But when that didn't pan out, before the RCMP got there, they never should have peddled that to the cops. They never should have allowed them to stay in those woods searching for that long. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It makes sense to think they might have gone up there to play the cabin, but other than that, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, not at all. And they hated being cold and wet. It was cold and wet that morning. To play devil's advocate, we don't believe some things Janie says, but we do believe her when she said Jack didn't like the woods. Listen, I'm not saying I don't believe what Janie said. I'm saying clear up your inconsistencies. That's all. And no different than Daniel. I will believe everything that they say if they clear up their inconsistencies. People that come out, they hear or they see Daniel's screenshots and are like, oh, he fucking lies anyways. I don't care. Why waste your time talking to him? Because I don't think that way. I think that any information is good information until it's proven to be not good information, right? So I am not picking apart the whole 2.5 hours of Janie's statement other than her attitude towards the kids. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I'm picking apart these things that we know that Janie said and then contradicted herself and refuses to acknowledge that or clear it up. Instead, they say, I don't owe anybody anything. Well, that's true. Then you need to stop talking in a public setting because you're just setting the public off. Does that make sense, Johnny? Does that make sense? And it wasn't just Janie that said the kids didn't like the woods. Daniel also said that. They didn't like to be cold and wet. So, and I've played devil's advocate since day one, and I have my moments on this channel, but I am all about playing the devil's advocate here because they're the only ones that are talking. But they're creating these massive craters of gaps that just need to be cleared up. Yep. In her CBC interview, first one, Janie said the only one. Janie said that both Jack and Lilly both went out the patio door. How would she know that if she was sleeping? So those, especially Janie's, was done 2 months in. So she knew what the story was. She knew what the RCMP believed, right? They believed that they went out the sliding door. So have you found out if the RCMP did in fact check the black house? If it was empty, it should have been checked. No, they're not going to release that information. Maybe it goes by the name Larry. Totally possible. Should I take out the people that are not JM? Just thought I'd get that. This is a public chat, so I wouldn't worry about it. But what part do you believe? Do you believe that she wasn't raking, or do you believe that she was raking? Because both stories are right here, you guys. That's like, pick one and explain to me why you believe that one when she said something separate minutes before. Minutes before. American Justice says that fort was new and I can prove it. Can't wait to see what you got. Card readers. Blah. Hey, Kimberly. Love that. I think they're copying Sloan Bella's video. Yeah. He likes bugs though. I think he did have a stubborn streak. Yeah. It's absolutely about the like pick one of these because it's right here on the screen, same chat, minutes apart, saying two completely different things. Pick one that you believe and explain to me why this is more believable than that. This encompasses the problem with Daniel and Janie. Because even though it's right here in front of our eyes, some people, including them, will not acknowledge the different stories. Why one boot print and not two? He has little legs. There should have been two. Yeah. Durwood lied about owning a Kia in a chat and just won't acknowledge it. Won't explain it. Maybe he didn't own it. Maybe he was selling it for a friend. So just say that. Someone named Shy was accusing her of raking all night at nighttime. DT even brought it up on the screen. Janie was saying she wasn't raking at night, but at supper time. That's how I see it. I see. So it's just a difference of perception of time, is what you're saying. And I never put much stock into somebody saying she was out raking all night. I truly believe, because her story was that Daniel went to go find his tools and she was waiting for him and she started raking. First potholes, second pool. Even forget she changed the story, which she did, but forget what she was raking. Why not just say, I was waiting for Daniel, so I grabbed a rake. I wasn't doing anything nefarious, but instead she changed the story and she's allowed it to go on this long instead of just talking about it, addressing it, because she doesn't owe us anything. Fair enough. But stop doing shit like this then. And I can see Lily as a pretty princess because she seems to love dressing up. Can't see her making mud pies like Janie said, but yeah, kind of in the same sentence she said, she didn't like to get dirty. So every time she got dirty, she'd go in the house and I never knew what that girl would come out with, like be wearing. But then she'd go and make mud pies. But 6 bags of laundry, so. I'm really behind in chat. Explorer? American Justice Melissa has got you covered. She's working on it. It's phenomenal. I've seen it. It's possible. But you're getting that information from a psychic, and I just want to warn you to be very, very careful about the information you get from a channel. Just use your common sense. She does. She absolutely does. Char stated yeah, I'm not, I'm not doing that. I bet Durwood would totally tally the most lies right up there with Daniel. People are being horrible to Kent. He's a good person. Yes, and the only thing that I will say about Kent's current situation is that it was like a freight train coming, that I had tried to warn him about just some of the people that he was trusting and conversing with, and I don't want to get into it. It's not my fight. It's not my drama. I warned him. She also said that Daniel yelled from the door right. How did she know? Why correct the reporter and say this is the door they came out of instead of this is the door they could have come out of? But she could have also known about the wrench thing in the door. But we also saw a picture where there was, I think, a mattress in front of that front door. They couldn't use the door on the other side of the trailer. And if they had, like I said, she had heard from Daniel and Malaya their reasoning for believing the kids went out the sliding glass door by that point. So I have had two boys at that age. They would not walk far and whined and sat on the ground until you picked them up. I have to go through everyone's videos and create a mind map of how the story that DM and JM kept changing and updating as one would change their story and then other would change theirs to match, right? Psyche Val? Absolutely. Please read statements about raking again. I think the first one meant at night after dark. Yeah, and I mean, possible. Possible. Okay, I'll look. Because of drama and lies and BS. And like I said, I don't understand why there's drama and lies and BS when you're just trying to cover a missing persons case with two small children, and how you can allow yourself to become involved in such drama. And I refuse to do it. So I feel for the guy, but I warned him. Yes, that's what I thought Janie was getting at too, trying to differentiate between evening and nighttime. Well, she did a terrible job. She denied raking at all, then she said raking at several times. Thank you. Yeah, and it gets views and drama in my lack of ethics. In fact, someone raked up all the tire and footprints. They only found one footprint, you guys. The kids were playing out there. Where's their footprints at? Malaya on dispatch said the kids went missing at 8 a.m. There is no way the children were heard by Janie. Malaya has lied about her time too. In my opinion, it happened the night before. You were not alone. Kent is doing all he can to hold the vigils and stuff. He's trying to help and people can't stand it, and I applaud Kent for what he's doing to help. Yes, but there are other things that he should have stayed away from. And he didn't. I grab a rake all the time too. If I was just sitting there and I was waiting for somebody to, like, I don't know if I'd do that out in the rain or wet 3 degrees. Kind of doubt it, but I'm not Janie. She's a little bit rougher and tougher than I am, so. So Janie did not get a call from Ron at 6:20, right? Janie sent Ron a TikTok or a Facebook reel or something. There was no response. This was not a phone call. The phone call was at 8:48 and lasted 2 minutes and 39 seconds. She did say that, Shar, and she was waiting on Daniel to get tools to, yeah, I know. I know, because you made me listen to it again. Really? the missed call to Cindy at 8:28. That's what sent me on this rabbit hole hunt. This what got me back onto Durwood. Malaya was awake at 8:28 a.m. And I'm not saying that Malaya doesn't have mental issues, postpartum depression. She might have been you know, a domestic violence survivor. She might have had all of these issues. She really, really could have. But you still have to talk about why she's not looking for her kids. You have to. You have to ask the question. And until she answers it, I'm going to continue asking it of her and of Cindy and everybody else on Malaya's side. Haley and Cheryl showed up at this last vigil, Jack's birthday. Good for them. It's good for them. Yes, they are. I wonder where Justin is getting all his info from. Can we talk about the not my business? I talk about that till I'm blue in the face. What would you like me to say about that? Janie said it's not, what goes on over there is none of my business. However, how heavy he packed the garbage was his business. What time of night they got home at on Wednesday was her business. What else was there? There were a few things that we were like, and then, like I said, she has full access to come and go out of that trailer as she pleases, whether they like it or not. Durwood and Daniel are equally sketchy. Janie and others not far behind. Daniel and Durwood definitely the handlers. Sadly, Kent was an easy target. That's right. And he wouldn't listen to reason, April. I hope people move on from this shit like quickly, because in my opinion, he doesn't deserve it. But how can you move on so quickly to start a new life? I don't know. I'd be surprised if I could even get out of bed if all of my kids were gone. I know you're going. I'm just looking forward to getting this document out to the viewers, to everybody, because it's what we've needed since June. Truly. I have a hard butt, just so you know. That's terribly too much information. It's been fucking 6 months. Someone needs to start coming forward. It's been too long. I think that RCMP didn't mention the footprint in the yard as it's expected that their footprints would be there. Right, but they only, good point. According to Daniel and Janie, there was only one footprint though. Has anyone heard anything about the docs? I heard Monday or Tuesday, and I think when I said that last week, I was like, don't hold me to that, because usually that means Thursday or Friday, but I did hear this week sometime. Kara, thank you so much. We must look at what is missing from the case. Perhaps like spotting these clues can help, not the scripted stuff. The plain evidence doesn't lie. I couldn't agree more. Yes, and I do have a plan to have Daleen on Thursday. She's in trial this week, and I also have some prior engagements this week. But we're going to try to get it together for Thursday afternoon and have some of your questions answered and have some clarification on some of the things that Belinda is intending on doing. Yeah, oh, I know. My gut tells me that these rumors are out there to discredit. I always ask where they got this info from. Otherwise, it gets so messy and hard to separate. Absolutely does. Was Amelia awake calling Cindy, or did Daniel call to make it look like she was up? I cannot get on board with that, because if that was the case, Rena, Daniel would have been screaming from the rooftops about check Malia's phone. Who did she call? Even if he had done it, he would want us to know that that call was made by her phone. He claims he didn't know that she made that call. So if he really thinks or believes or wants us to believe that Malia has the kids or is behind all of this, he would have wanted us to know about that call. So I cannot get on board with that. The kids were missing at 8 when she called mom at 8:28. Right? Thanks, Explorer. Anybody see Sarah or Sailor Moon today? Larry Geddes holds the title to the Black House. I thought it was Marvin. There are two people that own that house. Belinda said she searched the shed at the Black House, but was the house itself searched by scent dogs or cadaver dogs? Anyone know? No, we don't know. I was told that they did have dogs over there. I don't know that they took the dogs inside. Nothing, just it's fundraiser stuff, and it's between two different sides, and it's ridiculous because this is fundraiser to raise money to get posters and stuff to raise awareness for two missing babies, and there are people infighting about bullshit. And you wouldn't believe everything Justin says. Justin clutched some pearls. Well, I mean, I happen to know his source for that information, and the source is pretty reliable, if I do say so myself. Janie picks and chooses what's her business. It's too bad Jack and Lily weren't part of what she chooses to make her business that day, because usually she would call and let them know the kids were outside. She chose to ignore it that day. Weird. We're not slamming anyone. We're not slamming anyone. We're discussing Janie's statements in DT's chat the other night. Not slamming anyone. I would be devastated if I didn't have my kids. As you said, I would probably be under the covers in bed, right? Like, how do you go on? Kent has a great heart. He absolutely made himself a target. I also tried to warn him, but here we are. You know it. Janie was raking boot prints, not full pool. We don't know. Oh. No, he doesn't. What? Where'd you get that from? That is absolutely not the case. I didn't want to bring that up. Are we still Kent's friends here? Of course. We're everybody's friends. We're Daniel's friends. We're Janie's friends. We're a safe place to come and clear up your bullshit. That's all we are here. We're nothing. We're 151 people on what day is it? Tuesday afternoon, hanging out with a dipshit, talking about stuff. From what I recall, they were searched in the initial days, and that would be scent dogs, right? The blanket was found in the tree, was on the railing before, and not the garbage, right? Yes. So, Daniel said that the blanket, how did he put it? Cheryl or Haley, I'd have to go back and read it. Sorry. Cheryl or Haley admitted to seeing the piece of blanket on the railing. So it was taken from the railing and planted in the tree. That is basically what Daniel had said, that the girls admitted to seeing the blanket on the railing. So the piece of blanket wasn't taken from the garbage, but it was taken from the railing and planted on the tree. So he steered away from somebody ripping into the garbage bag. To me, whether he's done that publicly or not, like on a live chat with DT or whatever, I don't know, but that is what he told me. And I told him straight out, you need to get this out to the public because this makes sense to me. And that was one of my biggest rabbit holes that I refused to go under, was the blanket bullshit. Who is going to go and rip a hole, and who's going to know that the blanket was in there and that there was two pieces and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't make sense. So whether or not he did, I don't know. I think it was his uncle. Because Durwood also claims that he didn't know that that house belonged to his family. Cousin. Someone has a pic of Marvin. No more talk of abduction from Daniel because I clarified it for him that even if it was Malaya who allowed her kids to be taken and hidden, she doesn't know where they are. She can't willingly bring them home. It's an abduction. Unless the kids are out in the woods somewhere, lost and just not found yet. The only other scenario is that they were abducted or something happened on the property. And that's what I explained to Daniel. And maybe he Googled it, but if he stopped saying that, then maybe he Kent drama seems similar to what went on with Lana. It's an extension of Rena. Well, it's also Larry, as his name is on the title. There were two men, Marvin and Bill, and maybe Bill was short for something, but the locals knew him as Bill. I'm telling you. When I look at this case, I see the area in my head. If a person was doing an action, I envision the action and I break it down to see if it's plausible. It's great. Me too. You walk through it with common sense in mind. Who do you stand behind? Oh, Lana? Has the RCMP investigated Ron? No clue. No idea, Ginger. Isn't that the chat she said she didn't shush the kids? This is the same chat that I believe it was you that sent me screenshots for, but it was early or later. I don't remember. I'm looking for the video before I talk about that again, though. Laugh so hard at no, he doesn't. Who? What? Text with Daniel? I don't know why that would make you laugh. If he does, then throws a lot of stuff that I'm doing with Justin into question. So I'm pretty confident that no. Nothing is happening with Kent. Everything is happening to Kent. It's all drama. It's all bullshit. None of it matters. None of it means anything. Hi, Roxanne. Takes me a minute. Oh, man. I love you, Shar. You don't bash. You talk about facts. The others is always calling names and bashing. Trying my best, man. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is have a little bit of empathy and, realize that you weren't there and you don't know these people personally, even though I think that for me, I feel like I know Daniel. I feel like I know some of these people, but I know that I don't. But sometimes you can trick yourself into thinking that you do because of all the shit that's gone on in the last 6 months. Do we know how big the piece of blanket was? DT was trying to say that perhaps Lilly took it. But you'd think that they would have found the scent going towards where the blanket was deposited. Maybe DT should call the RCMP with his spectacular tips. I don't know. I came up with a thought. I think it would work wonders to get Daniel's other side unleashed, get Cody to speak out. I don't think that there's much of a chance of Cody speaking out. However, he is very supportive of what Belinda is doing, and we will have the opportunity to talk to Belinda and ask her questions. Probably do it in like a members live or a private, just so that I don't like calling people trolls, but there are a lot of people out there who think negatively about Belinda due to Cody's choices, and I don't think that's fair. So as far as like, she doesn't need protecting, but I will protect the channel and my guests from that, because at the end of the day, it really has nothing to do with Belinda, but there are people that don't see that. In the transcripts, it was stated 2 children's shirts found along with a piece of blanket, yet no one talks about them. Really? I have a bridge to sell. Those who believe Durwood did not know his relatives. Yeah. Yep. Durwood makes my skin crawl and my spidey senses go off on full alert. I do know that he is becoming very careful about who he talks to, which is why I made the promise that I would not release screenshots and anything important or relevant. I will absolutely bring it to you guys, but as it is, there have been a few little things that I've told you about, but why would Durwood deny knowing something to hide? Absolutely. In this chat, we never said that I was careful to get all of hers. Then, yeah. Oh my gosh, did you guys hear that? That's Harley farting. I'm gonna have to go here right away. It's 2.5 hours. I think it was a pretty good live stream. We got a lot covered with Darius, and now we have a direction that we're gonna go. We're gonna respectfully dig into Dad. I'm going to have. That's so nice of you. Thank you. He did though. He literally just farted like a 10-second pause. It lasted. No, it was Harley. I swear to God, it was Harley. It's terrible. I'm going to get to all these comments the next time. Thank you, Ori, for joining at the very end, but I'm shutting her down now. And I tried my best to make a new outro. So y'all think that was me that farted, and it wasn't. I'm telling you. It was just, shut up. I'm telling you. Like, you guys can like analyze the sound and see how far away it was. Probably like 6 feet away from me, but it lasted like a solid 5 seconds. Solid 5 seconds. Anyways, I tried to do a new outro, so hopefully you like it, and have a good night. We'll see y'all probably tomorrow. Bye.
We're going down. Head into the